Well, we know Angel Reese has definitely been in the headlines, man, after erupting in a press conference, pretty much swearing at reporters. And I'm here to tell you today is another day of the Angel Reese drama because she has simply smacked the clipboard out of an assistant coach's hands. Yes, now all of this went down during the Washington missed this game. This happened on national television.
The clock was winding down, seconds ticking away in a game tied up tight. The tension was palpable, the score locked in a fierce battle against the Washington Mystics. This wasn't just any game, it was a crucial moment, the kind where legacies are forged and team identities are defined, but the lasting image wouldn't be a game-winning shot or a defensive stand. It was a player, one of the league's brightest stars, erupting in a shocking public display of frustration that went far beyond the boundaries of competitive fire, immediately throwing her coach's authority into question.
By the way, the referees blew every whistle. Like, I'm not joking. There was one play where Angel Reese dribbled backward. She backed into Aaliyah Edwards and tripped over her own feet and got free throws. The free throws that led to this happening were unbelievably soft. That led to Angel Reese breaking a coach's clipboard, walking over and slapping a coach's clipboard. And by the way, if this was Caitlin Clark, you just know they'd be calling out her anger problem.
With precisely 29.9 seconds left on the game clock, tied at 77 points apiece, everything was on the line. A timeout had just been called, and as players headed towards their benches, the Chicago Sky's highly touted forward made her way towards her team's huddle. Instead of joining her teammates and coaches to discuss the final critical plays, she stopped abruptly and, in a sudden, forceful motion, smacked a clipboard straight out of the hands of a woman standing nearby. The action wasn't subtle, it was sharp, deliberate, and broadcast live across national television, instantly becoming the defining moment of the game, not the outcome.
A lot of people are picking up on is when she is walking over to the bench and she slaps the clipboard out of her coach's hand. And you guys, my honest reaction to this when I first saw it, I was just laughing. It's kind of like the reaction that you're seeing from me right here. I wouldn't look into this too hard. I know it's already become controversial because they're like, oh, if another player did this, there would be think pieces written about it. And
this wasn't some accidental brush or a heat of the moment bump amidst chaos. It was a clear public act of defiance and disrespect captured from multiple angles. While the game itself ended in a narrow 81-79 loss for the Sky, and yes, there were arguments to be made about questionable foul calls that contributed to the pressure cooker environment, including reports of a significant free throw disparity that favored the player in question. The focus immediately shifted away from the officiating and onto the sideline behavior.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Barbie? The emotional decline continues for Angel Reese. The temper tantrums, the complete loss of emotional control continues for the Bayou Barbie, as well as the Chi-Town Barbie and Double Barbie, and whatever other alias that Angel Reese has decided to give her.
And the target of this outburst wasn't just a piece of paper and plastic. The clipboard belonged to Ann Crosby, a key member of the Sky's front office and coaching staff, serving as the team's VP of basketball operations and strength and conditioning. This wasn't merely striking an inanimate object, it was a direct, aggressive gesture aimed at a figure of authority, a key part of the team's structure and leadership. It elevated the incident from simple frustration to a challenge to the very fabric of team hierarchy and respect.
It was wild, all right? It was wild. I mean, tempers were flying. This was an all-out rivalry, man. All right. I mean, even Angel Reese was pissed at this moment. Look at this, pissed. All right, pissed. This was close to the end of the game. 29 seconds left. Game tied. Game on the line, and I think she was called for it.
For many who follow the league closely, this public meltdown felt less like a one-off event and more like the latest chapter in a developing narrative. This player, who has achieved remarkable fame and built a significant brand, including landing on the cover of the upcoming NBA 2K26 video game, a recognition often associated with leadership and embodying the spirit of the sport, seems to be struggling to translate individual success into consistent team-oriented behavior. Her season has been marked by what many perceive as a pattern of stirring drama, engaging in public spats, and focusing attention inward when it should be on collective goals. From relentless social media jabs directed at rivals to frequent public complaints about officiating, there's a clear, consistent theme of controversy that seems to follow her every move. Critics have dubbed this ongoing saga the player name show, suggesting the drama often overshadows the actual basketball.
Angel always talks about being willing to do whatever dirty work is necessary. Did you see that today? Did you see a performance that in terms of the timeliness and the types of plays that she made, it went beyond the stat sheet?
Yeah, I think that's who Angel is in the best way. I think that that's what her skill set allows her to be. That we shouldn't just look at her as a rebounder or just as a scorer. There's so many different things that she can do on a court that helps a team win. And even though shots weren't falling for her tonight, she had 5 assists. She had huge rebounds down the stretch. And that's the kind of versatility that we see in her, and she's embraced it so far.
Adding to the controversy was the player's public response following the game. Taking to social media platforms, she posted a brief, dismissive comment seemingly referencing the incident. Something along the lines of, "Those were making me mad." For many observers, this felt strikingly devoid of genuine accountability or remorse. Instead of acknowledging the impact of a public display of disrespect towards a staff member, the tone appeared to brush it off as simply annoyance. This quick online reaction, perceived as a flimsy excuse rather than a sincere apology, only seemed to amplify the criticism and left fans questioning whether she truly understood the gravity of her actions or the message it sent.
So Angel Reese, the most toxic player in all of basketball, is out here slapping clipboards out of her coaching staff's hand because she's so mad her team committed a foul in the crunch after she shot 15 free throws this game. This is the lowest of the low disrespect that you can show to your coaching staff. She's trying to get y'all locked in, worried about the next play, and you so toxic with your terrible, awful attitude that you slap the clipboard out of her.
This entire firestorm lands squarely on the shoulders of the Chicago Sky's first-year head coach, Tyler Marsh. Marsh was hired with considerable fanfare and expectation, arriving in Chicago with an impressive resume that includes championship experience forged alongside some of the most successful coaches in modern basketball history, like Nick Nurse, Rick Carelli, and WNBA legend Becky Hammond. His reputation is built on integrity, player development, and, crucially, an ability to build winning cultures rooted in trust and accountability. Yet, all that impressive background and theoretical knowledge face their toughest test when confronted with a star player's public actions that fundamentally undermine the principles he was brought in to establish.
Angel Reese had a great game. She had 22 points, 15 rebounds. There were some questionable calls from the referees on both ends of the floor during this game against the Washington Mystics, and they ended up losing by 2 points at the end of the game. And so she's a competitor. Love or hate Angel Reese, she's a competitor. She's a fierce competitor. And I feel like this was just a moment where her frustrations got the best of her. Hopefully, later on, I'm sure she'll probably see this on social media and she'll go up to her coach and be like, my bad, coach. That was not cool of me. I shouldn't have slapped the clipboard.
The question that immediately arose, particularly among frustrated fans and analysts, was, what did Tyler Marsh do in the immediate aftermath of the clipboard slap? According to multiple reports in the game broadcast, there was no immediate public consequence. Marsh reportedly did not call another timeout specifically to address the behavior, nor did he bench the player for the final seconds of a tied game. She remained in the game, finishing with impressive statistics, a double-double of 22 points and 15 rebounds. But in this instance, statistics felt almost irrelevant. The lack of any visible, immediate disciplinary action in that moment of public defiance sent a message. And for many, it wasn't a message about accountability.
Why do you guys hate Angel Reese so much? The Angel Reese hate is so forced. This is why we hate the Brick Lane Slough. She has a terrible attitude, awful, toxic. This is why she has no friend. This is why no.
And let's not forget about the WNBA's role in all of this.
This perceived silence or inaction in the face of such a blatant public display of disrespect is particularly concerning when weighed against Marsh's stated goals for the team. He has repeatedly emphasized his commitment to building a championship culture in Chicago, stressing the importance of accountability and creating an environment where every player can reach their full potential. However, the foundation of any championship team isn't just raw talent. It's built on discipline, mutual respect, and holding every single player, regardless of their star power, to the same high standards of professionalism. When the team's most prominent player publicly undermines a staff member without apparent immediate consequence, it raises serious questions about the coach's ability or willingness to enforce those standards. It leads some to suggest that perhaps the inmates are running the asylum, where star power trumps team rules.
Angel Reese said that she was done being polite. She was done being humble. I'm done being silent. The Bayou Barbie is mad, mad, mad. And Barbie is about to start clapping back at the haters. To her credit, Angel Reese said what she meant and meant what she...
This challenging situation is made even more complex by the player's prominent role as a public figure and self-proclaimed role model. With major endorsement deals, signature products, and a massive social media following, she wields significant influence, particularly among young fans. She often speaks about inspiring young girls to be confident, bold, and unapologetically themselves. But what kind of message is truly being sent when they witness her handle frustration by lashing out aggressively at authority figures on national television? What lesson is being taught about managing emotions under pressure, or showing respect to coaches and staff? For those concerned about the example she sets, this incident felt like a stark contradiction between her words and her actions, suggesting that perhaps being talented or popular means you don't have to adhere to the same standards of behavior as everyone else. This is arguably the inverse of true leadership.
This woman trying to show you a play, and you just gonna slap a clipboard out of her hand like that. On national TV. What a role model. Please, stop embarrassing us.
Furthermore, the WNBA's response, or lack thereof, in the aftermath has also drawn significant criticism. This is the same league that has, at times, been perceived as overly sensitive to player complaints or eager to investigate various on-court or off-court interactions. Yet, in the face of a clear televised incident of public disrespect towards a staff member, the league remained conspicuously silent. Critics argue this silence suggests a potential inconsistency in how the league addresses behavioral issues, perhaps being hesitant to publicly admonish one of its biggest and most popular stars. While the league has rules regarding player conduct and interaction with team personnel, many feel these rules seemed more like suggestions than mandatory guidelines in this specific instance, leading to questions about whether certain players are afforded different standards.
Something with the Chicago Sky team, like they are not doing well this season. I think that is evident. It doesn't look like they are going to make playoffs, and this was just a moment of frustration at the end of the game. It is funny though when you play the clip over and over. This was a warranted crash out. Like, we can give Angel Reese a...
This entire ordeal is shaping up to be the defining test of Tyler Marsh's young head coaching career in Chicago. He wasn't hired to simply manage minutes or draw up X's and O's. Those are fundamental coaching tasks. He was brought in to change the culture, to instill discipline, and to build a foundation for sustained success. This isn't something you can achieve by ignoring public displays of defiance from your most visible player. The easy path is to let it slide, hoping it won't happen again, focusing solely on the player's undeniable talent and statistical contributions. But as history has shown across all sports, easy rarely leads to championships.
Shakira Austin at 13 free throws. Angel Reese at 15. Angel at 15 free throws. Last couple of possessions to go. Kiki Riafen is standing with her hands up. Angel Reese just flings herself backwards into Kiki Riafen. Down 2 to draw the foul.
Championship caliber coaches throughout history, the Phil Jacksons managing Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, the Pat Rileys with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, the Becky Hammonds leading the Aces, understood that success requires more than just assembling talent. It demands establishing and enforcing a culture of respect and accountability, where no player, no matter how talented or famous, is above the team's standards. They didn't tolerate public displays of disrespect towards their staff. They They understood that allowing such behavior erodes the team's foundation, undermines authority, and sends a clear, detrimental message to every other player on the roster.
I'm not one to blow up negativity, but Angel Reese supposed to be leading young women and being a great example to girls and kids all over the world. Well, I'm here to tell you, she was not leading by example.
This is the moment for Tyler Marsh to demonstrate whether he possesses the courage and conviction necessary to be that kind of championship coach. Every player on the Chicago Sky roster is watching how he handles this. Every member of his coaching and front office staff is watching. The entire league and its growing fan base are watching. The question is no longer just about whether this player can rebound, score, or generate headlines. It's about whether the coach can effectively lead, establish boundaries, and build a culture where professionalism and respect are non-negotiable cornerstones. Right now, with the Sky struggling in the standings and appearing more like a soap opera than a playoff contender, the stakes couldn't be higher. Without addressing the behavioral issues and establishing clear accountability, the talent on the roster might remain just potential without purpose, destined for the same disappointing seasons that Sky fans have endured for too long. The organization needs to decide if they are committed to being a serious basketball contender or content with being defined by sideline drama.